That a lot of questions. What's going on? This is not normal. And is it really shocking that all this egregious violence goes against my husband? Especially that we hear the leaders from the opposition party and mainstream media branding him as a threat to democracy, calling him vile names. They only fueling a toxic atmosphere and giving power all of these people that they want to do harm to him. This needs to stop. This needs to stop. The country needs...
A $150 million lawsuit is no small matter, especially when a former First Lady takes legal action. People pay attention, and when the target is a TV personality like Sunny Hostin, things get messy fast. It all began with a few comments on The View. Never one to hold back, Hostin made sharp remarks about Melania Trump's relationship with her husband. She hinted that Melania wasn't fond of Donald Trump and even suggested she wanted to take him out. Whether joking or not, the reaction was immediate. The internet erupted, headlines spread, and controversy ignited. Melania Trump rarely speaks publicly, but when she does, she makes it count. This time, she's making her case in court. She's suing Hostin for defamation, claiming the remarks were not only false, but deeply damaging to her reputation. And she's not just seeking an apology, she's demanding $150 million. That figure alone underscores her seriousness. But beyond the money, this lawsuit raises a bigger question. Can media personalities say whatever they want about public figures without facing consequences?
Would you look? This is a network that still runs out fact checks to these women, like it's concerned about them staying factual. She hates Trump. She doesn't want to be near him. She doesn't want to be president again. She destroyed the Rose Garden and she hates Christmas. That is what passes for news on a network they did a presidential.
Where's the line between opinion and defamation? If Melania Trump wins this case, could it change the way TV hosts talk about political figures forever? This isn't just a lawsuit. It's a battle over free speech, media responsibility, and reputation, and the outcome could shake up everything. Melania Trump has never been one to let false stories slide. Back in 2017, she took on one of the biggest names in media, the Daily Mail. The British tabloid published a story claiming that before meeting Donald Trump, she had worked as an escort. The article spread like wildfire, linking Melania's name to a scandalous past she insisted was completely false. She didn't just deny the claims, she fought back in court. Melania filed defamation lawsuits in both the US and the UK, demanding $150 million in damages. Her argument? The article not only damaged her reputation but also hurt her ability to build her own business ventures as First Lady. The case didn't last long. The Daily Mail quickly backed down, agreed to settle, and reportedly paid Melania $2.9 million.
Melania Trump came out and said she's about as pro-choice as they come. And here was the reaction on The View.
Like the wife of a dictator. She doesn't sound like the wife. She don't sound like the wife of an evil man.
Yeah, she sounds like she's in a happy marriage, right? Why would she go on here and talk with Fox and go in there and spy?
They also issued a public apology, admitting their claims were untrue. That lawsuit sent a clear message. Melania Trump takes defamation seriously. She made it known that she wouldn't tolerate damaging rumors, no matter how big the media outlet. Melania isn't the loudest figure in politics, but she's one of the most strategic. Unlike her husband, who fires back at critics on social media, she takes a quieter, more calculated approach. Her weapon of choice? Lawsuits. From the moment she became First Lady, Melania positioned herself as someone who demanded respect. While other political spouses handled criticism through PR teams or interviews, she took her battles to court. Whether it was the Daily Mail case or legal threats against publishers and authors spreading rumors, Melania followed a pattern. She didn't argue in the press. She let her lawyers handle it. Some saw her as a private figure protecting her dignity. Others viewed her legal battles as a way to control her image and silence criticism. Either way, her lawsuits shaped public perception. They set her apart from past first ladies and redefined how public figures push back against the media.
People like our show because they know that we are checked by ABC News. But
we're checked by everybody.
Yeah, but we went from Walter Cronkite basically to this guy Joe Rogan who believes in dragons. I checked it. He believes in dragons. He believes in dragons.
Did you triple source that?
Yes, I did. And he also thinks that dragons, like dinosaur type of animals, roamed the earth when people did. So this is the type of really, really bad information that's going out.
Past first ladies were often criticized, but rarely fought back in court. Will Melania Trump's legal strategy work against The View and Sunny Hostin? Winning against a tabloid is one thing, but challenging a mainstream television personality on a nationally syndicated talk show is a much bigger battle. If Melania wins, it won't just be a personal victory. It could reshape how media figures discuss public personalities. But if she loses, it might send a different message: that public figures, no matter how powerful, can't always control the narrative. Melania's track record proves she isn't afraid of a legal fight, but this time, the stakes are even higher. Sunny Hostin is no stranger to controversy, but her recent comments have landed her in serious legal trouble. On an episode of The View, she didn't hold back when discussing Melania Trump. In a blunt and shocking statement, she claimed that Melania despises her husband and secretly wants to take him out. The remark wasn't just a passing joke. It was a direct attack on the former First Lady's relationship with Donald Trump. Hostin implied that Melania was actively working against him behind the scenes, fueling speculation that she might not support his political ambitions. The audience reacted with a mix of laughter and gasps, but it didn't take long for the clip to go viral. So where did Hostin get this idea? She pointed to Melania's past statements, particularly her stance on personal freedoms, which at times seemed to contradict Trump's policies. For example, Melania had expressed support for women's rights and abortion access, despite Trump's firm anti-abortion stance.
In defense, there are some really good news.
It's possible that Donald Trump did roam the earth when dinosaurs were here.
Scream. Well done, Gates. Sonny, you have a legal note.
I do have a legal note. Thank you, Whoopi. Matt Gaetz has long denied all allegations, calling the claims, quote, invented, and saying in a statement to ABC News that this false smear following a 3-year criminal investigation should be viewed with great skepticism. That DOJ...
Hostin took this as a sign of deeper resentment within the Trump household, suggesting that Melania was subtly signaling her opposition. Whether she was exaggerating for effect or genuinely believed her words, one thing was clear: she had stepped into dangerous territory. Melania, known for her silence rather than confrontation, had been publicly accused of despising her own husband on national television. And she wasn't going to let it slide. The backlash was immediate. Conservative commentators slammed The View for pushing baseless speculation, calling it yet another example of media bias against Republicans. Supporters of Melania saw it as an unfair attack on a woman who had largely stayed out of political mudslinging. Many pointed out that Melania rarely speaks about her personal life, making Hostin's claims purely speculative. On the other side, some media outlets defended Hostin, arguing that public figures, especially former first ladies, are subject to scrutiny. They claimed that Melania's actions over the years, from refusing to hold Trump's hand in public to her icy expressions during his speeches, had fueled long-standing rumors about their marriage. Hostin, they argued, was merely saying what many had already suspected. What made this situation different, however, was the legal angle. Speculating about a celebrity's marriage is one thing, but when that speculation turns into a claim of deep personal resentment, one that could harm a person's reputation, it opens the door for legal consequences. As the clip continued to circulate, legal analysts weighed in. Could this qualify as defamation? Would Melania actually take action? It wasn't long before the answer became clear. Reports surfaced that Melania's legal team was already drafting a lawsuit.
These are such vile comments, but they are exactly what The View's audience loves. It is targeted perfectly at a radically feminist, liberal audience that loves hate. Another now. This is loving and tolerant rhetoric the left uses, which they accuse the opposing side of using. And this one, those women are a danger to America. They do more than anyone else to stoke political and social.
Unlike past criticism she had ignored, this time, Melania Trump was coming after Sunny Hostin with everything she had. The controversy quickly spread beyond The View. News networks, political commentators, and social media users all weighed in. Some called it an attack on free speech, arguing that media personalities should be allowed to express their opinions without fear of lawsuits. Others insisted that Melania had every right to defend herself from what she saw as damaging lies. As details of the lawsuit emerged, the stakes became even clearer. Melania wasn't just seeking an apology, she was suing for a staggering $150 million. That number sent shockwaves through the industry. If successful, the case could set a precedent that changes how talk show hosts, comedians, and political commentators discuss public figures. For Sunny Hostin, what started as a bold remark had turned into a legal nightmare. And for Melania Trump, this wasn't just about one comment. It was about making it clear that she wouldn't tolerate public figures dragging her name through the mud. The big question now, will this lawsuit be a game changer for media accountability, or will it be seen as an attack on free speech? One thing is certain, this fight is far from over. Melania isn't just upset, she's taking action. She has officially filed a $150 million defamation lawsuit against Sunny Hostin and The View, claiming that Hostin's comments weren't just inaccurate, but maliciously intended to damage her reputation. According to the lawsuit, Melania's legal team argues that Hostin knowingly spread false and defamatory statements, suggesting she despises her husband and secretly wants to undermine him.
You need to defend yourself all the time. As you may heard, I file a few lawsuits and I'm in the court now because they accuse me of doing stuff that I never did in my life, and they wrote lies, and I will not allow that. I will fight till the end because I don't want that they damage my reputation.
The lawsuit argues that there is no factual basis for Hostin's claims and that making such allegations on a nationally syndicated talk show carries serious consequences. Melania's attorneys describe Hostin's remarks as an attack on her character, claiming they have caused immeasurable harm to her personal and public image. The lawsuit alleges that these statements were not casual speculation but were made with the intent to humiliate and defame her. What makes this lawsuit especially striking is the amount, $150 million. It's an enormous figure, signaling that Melania is serious about making an example out of this case. Her legal team argues that the financial demand reflects not only the reputational harm but also the need to hold media figures accountable for what they claim are baseless attacks. The lawsuit doesn't just go after Hostin individually, it also targets The View and ABC, accusing them of airing the statements without pushback, effectively endorsing them. If Melania wins, the consequences for media networks could be significant, potentially forcing them to reconsider how their hosts speak about public figures. However, winning a defamation case, especially when the plaintiff is a public figure, isn't easy. The legal fight is just beginning, and the outcome could have lasting implications for both media accountability and free speech.
You know who has been bragging all over the campaign trail about how he's the one that overturned Roe v. Wade, but apparently his wife has different thoughts on the reproductive rights after posting this video plugging her memoir. Take a look.
Defamation laws in the U.S. are notoriously difficult for public figures to navigate. Under existing legal standards, Melania Trump must prove not only that Hostin's statements were false, but also that they were made with actual malice. This means showing that Hostin either knew her statements were false or acted with reckless disregard for the truth. That's a high bar to clear, making defamation cases involving celebrities and politicians rare and difficult to win. One of the closest comparisons to this lawsuit is Melania's 2017 defamation case against the Daily Mail. In that case, she sued over false allegations about her past, ultimately securing a settlement in which the tabloid paid damages and issued a public apology. That victory showed Melania's willingness to take on the media and that she has the legal team to back her up. However, this case is different. Unlike the Daily Mail, which published an article that could be fact-checked and proven false, Hostin's statements were spoken opinions on a talk show. Courts traditionally grant more leeway to opinion-based commentary, especially in political discussions. Hostin's legal team will likely argue that her remarks were subjective and not presented as absolute fact, which could make it harder for Melania to prove defamation. That said, public figures have won defamation lawsuits before. Hulk Hogan's lawsuit against Gawker resulted in a $140 million judgment, leading to the site's shutdown. More recently, Dominion Voting Systems successfully sued Fox News for defamation, securing a $787 million settlement. These cases show that media outlets can be held accountable, but only when plaintiffs can prove serious harm caused by false statements. If this lawsuit moves forward, it could set a major precedent for media accountability and free speech.
Individual freedom is a fundamental principle that I safeguard. Without a doubt, there is no room for compromise when it comes to this essential right that all women possess from birth: individual freedom. What does my body, my choice really mean?
This case will set a critical precedent. If Melania wins, networks may be forced to be much more cautious about how their hosts discuss public figures, fearing potential lawsuits. If she loses, it could reinforce the idea that public figures must tolerate even harsh or speculative statements about them. This isn't just about Melania and Hostin. It's about the larger question of what the media can and cannot say about powerful figures. The outcome could shape future defamation cases and redefine the boundaries between free speech and reputational harm. When news of Melania Trump's $150 million lawsuit against Sunny Hostin broke, speculation about Hostin's future on The View spread rapidly. Some reports claimed ABC executives were considering removing her to avoid further legal trouble. Others suggested network higher-ups were concerned about potential financial liability if the case went to trial. The lawsuit put Hostin in an uncomfortable position. Media personalities often rely on sharp commentary to engage audiences, but now her words had landed her in serious legal jeopardy. Initially, rumors swirled that ABC had terminated her contract in response to the lawsuit, sending shockwaves through the industry. However, these claims later turned out to be false.
Individual freedom is a fundamental principle that I safeguard. Without a doubt, there is no room for compromise when it comes to this essential right that all women possess from birth: individual freedom. What does my body, my choice really mean?
Hostin remained on the panel, continuing to co-host alongside Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, and the rest of the View team. Despite keeping her job, the lawsuit undeniably left a stain on her career. Legal experts and media analysts pointed out that even if she won the case, the ordeal could impact future contracts, endorsements, and professional opportunities. ABC, like many major networks, has a vested interest in protecting itself from legal liabilities. While The View thrives on controversy, a lawsuit of this magnitude forced executives to reassess how their hosts handle public commentary. Some sources claim that behind the scenes, Hostin was advised to be more cautious with her words and to avoid speculative remarks that could expose the network to further legal trouble. This incident raised a broader issue for talk show hosts, journalists, and commentators. The lawsuit made it clear that even opinion-based discussions can have legal consequences, especially when discussing high-profile figures. If Melania Trump won, would it set a precedent that changes how hosts on shows like The View, The Talk, and Real Time with Bill Maher speak about political figures? And if Hostin lost, would it embolden others to take legal action against spoken TV personalities? With a lawsuit of this scale making headlines, The View couldn't ignore it. On a following episode, Whoopi Goldberg briefly addressed the situation, emphasizing that the show had always encouraged strong opinions, but also valued responsible dialogue. Joy Behar, known for her outspoken political takes, defended Hostin, arguing that discussing public figures was part of the show's DNA and that Melania Trump, as a former First Lady, should expect scrutiny. However, behind the scenes, tensions were reportedly high. While ABC publicly stood by Hostin, concerns grew that the lawsuit could escalate, leading to financial damages or reputational harm for the network. Producers reportedly held meetings about how to manage the controversy, and legal teams were actively involved in ensuring that further discussions about Melania Trump didn't worsen the situation.
Because I do want to get back to this point with the left and Melania Trump. Why can't she just be her own woman and have separate?
And she can.
And so why all that criticism? I mean, that was gross from The View. And look,
agree.
The View is not the litmus test of America. We don't think that.
They were afraid of that remark. That was their problem.
So why did they handle it?
The show's response also sparked debates about the boundaries of free speech in mainstream media. Supporters of The View argued that talk shows should be allowed to challenge and critique public figures without the constant fear of lawsuits. On the other hand, many believed Melania had every right to defend herself against what she saw as damaging and baseless claims. Another major point of contention was whether The View had been reckless in allowing such commentary to air without fact-checking. Unlike a news broadcast, The View operates as a talk show where hosts express opinions rather than report hard news. But does that give them a free pass to speculate on someone's personal life? In response to the controversy, ABC executives reportedly reviewed their editorial policies and provided additional legal guidance to their hosts. Some insiders suggested that The View would be more cautious going forward, ensuring that controversial statements were backed by factual sources or clearly framed as personal opinions rather than assertions of fact. Despite the legal drama, The View remained one of the most watched daytime talk shows, proving that controversy, even legal battles, only fuels public interest. However, the lawsuit had lasting effects on Sunny Hostin. While she remained employed, she now had to navigate her career more carefully. Other TV hosts also took note, realizing that media figures, no matter how popular, were not untouchable. This lawsuit wasn't just about one comment. It became a larger conversation about media responsibility, legal accountability, and the fine line between free speech and defamation. The outcome could set a precedent for how talk shows operate in the future. Hostin's legal battle was far from over, and the case raised the question of whether public figures can sue for defamation when talk show hosts speculate about their lives, or if media personalities should be free to say whatever they want without fear of legal action. The outcome of this case could change the way television hosts, journalists, and commentators handle public figures forever. What do you think? Should Melania Trump win this case? Or is this an attack on free speech? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video and want to stay updated on the latest controversies, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.